Welcome to part 2 of the kitchen refresh. In this video, I'm going to be going ahead and installing the lighting in the kitchen. Main reason for this, we got to move stuff around as you saw in the last video. If you haven't, please go check it out. Please leave a like on this video, and if you want to stick around and see how the project turns out, go ahead and subscribe. So the lighting we're going to be installing is these guys right here. They're a nice LED little recessed light, and the reason being, you can look around me, honestly the kitchen's pretty barren. So if you guys saw the kitchen plans last video, we're going to be going ahead and getting rid of this whole deal right here and moving the refrigerator to where this pantry is. And first step, I got to go ahead and move this switch. So this switch is what powers my light up here. It's a three-way switch. Turn it off, turn it on, no biggie. And what I decided I want to do is I want to add recessed lights in here. I want to add a set of 4, about 8 total. So give me one in that corner here, and one over here to kind of add some more light. And then I'm going to add 4 more in this side over the dining area. So without further ado, let me go ahead and show you the parts I got, and then we'll go ahead and get into it. So these are the parts that I went ahead and picked up for this project. I'm still missing a couple things that should be here before the end of the video. I need a 3-way box that hasn't shown up yet. This is just a single. I do need some anti-wire tugs that are going to go in these holes when they get popped out to do the wiring. I'll show you that in a little bit when it comes time. And I think I'm missing 1 or 2 other items. I'm missing some 14.2 cable. This is 14.3 for the 3-way switch. I need 14.2 just to go ahead and bring all the lights together. Now, I'm not gonna be adding any new switches or any new heavy duty wires. The reason being they're just LED lights, very low load, so all those continuing existing circuits should be fine. If you're doing this on yourself, please do due diligence and look into exactly how your wiring is gonna work. I did a decent bit of research before starting this project out. So a quick rundown of parts list. I have 8 of these lights. Here's 1 pack, and the other 6 are in here. And they pretty much come with the actual light itself, and you get a little cutout right here. I went ahead and picked up a hole saw off Amazon. Looks to be, I got 6 1/8. They call for 6 1/4, so hopefully this will work, but we might need to do a little bit of extra cutting to make sure everything's good there. And then you have your light. We're going to insert them today. That's my plan, is to get these things inserted today, and I'll do wiring tomorrow or the day after. The actual kit's pretty cool. It comes with little push connectors, also known as Wago, but I don't think these are the Wago style. These are just regular push connectors, and inside the box. And again, you want to get some kind of anti-tug device so that when your wires are running in here, if something gets tugged on it, they don't get pulled out. So that's still coming in the mail. They're not here yet. Should be here pretty soon. So 1 per light, pretty easy. These are a dimmable light. So I decided for all of the recessed lights, I wanted to go dimmer switch. So that's going to be for here in the kitchen main area. The existing switches in my house are all, well, not all of them, but the kitchen ones are all a yellow switch with a white cover. I went ahead and replaced them with white ones because I think they'll look a lot nicer. And that's really about it. There's nothing too crazy, very minimal work. The only big thing is, because that wire that we're extending in the other room is going to need to be extended when we go up to the attic, I bought extra 14.3 and 14.2 because I know for a fact I'm going to need to add a junction box so that I can extend it down to the other wall, and it'll be out of the way, safe, and up to code and not have any issues there. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into it by basically measuring up where I wanted these lights, drill some holes, and we should be good. I was watching a couple videos on how to use this thing without actually making a giant mess. I'm going to repurpose this box and make it act as a collector, essentially for all the dust and stuff, so you don't have a huge mess. And these are also adjustable anywhere from very yellowish room light to pure white to a much more daylight blue color. So I'm probably gonna be somewhere in the middle, I imagine, and that's really about it. So without further ado, once again, I'm gonna flip you guys time lapse. I'm gonna start measuring out where I want everything, putting holes in, getting these set in place, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of that. All right, so you got a first light in way over there. I need to take it back out in a minute. I was just gonna do a test one the other day, and it's now the next day. But this is pretty much little wire boxes. So what I decided I'm gonna do, obviously you can see I bought these guys, and this is an anti-tug device. So make sure that when you put your wire in, if it ever gets any tension on it, it won't get pulled out and potentially cause a fire hazard. And then they have little push connectors. These are very low voltage lights, so I'm not too worried about using these push connectors. Some people are concerned because they have a smaller surface area as opposed to wire ties, but these should be fine for my usage. And then we have our ground, and should be power and ground, or not power and ground, power and, or hot and cold, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Yep, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish drilling out the rest of the holes, and then I'm gonna put a box up in there with it, and then I'll find it when I'm in the attic and be able to plug everything in. I want to get everything set down here because I don't want to be messing around in the attic and insulation trying to get this whole box set up. So this should be ready to go as a unit. And then the last ones, I only put one in because it's going to be the end of the chain. There will be no need to have any further connections. So for right here, this one's going to be the end of the chain because it's going to go from that switch to that one, that one, that one, and this one. It could go the other way. It doesn't really matter, but basically it's going to be, this for me is going to be the end of the chain here. So pretty easy. Go ahead and get to the rest of these lights. All right, so the recessed lighting is now in place. I think it looks pretty good. The next part is obviously wiring. So I got my junction box prepared and pretty much just added a ground in here. I'm gonna be using wire nuts to actually secure everything. I think they are gonna be my best bet for simplicity. So for the junction box, I know I need to extend 2 wires from that one wall. And because it's a 3-way switch, it has a power wire and it has a 3-way wire to actually run between the two. So that's why I have 4 of these things in here, 1 for each wire, and that should be fine. Obviously, we're going to secure this thing, and these are the anti-wire tugs I was talking about, so I ran them also in all my light boxes, so this way we don't have any issues. But yeah, we got our 14.2 cable and 14.3 for the extension, and then, as you guys saw, these are my switches and everything. So switches are going to be last, but I'm going to go ahead and run all the lights for all the wiring for the recessed lighting now, and the lighting in my attic is going to be terrible. I'm going to link a video in the description of how to properly wire up a junction box that I'm following, because I'm not going to be able to show you up in the attic if you are following along for that, but just know that I'm following the video exactly. So if that's what it looks like in the video, that's what it's going to look like up there. Other than that, it's really about it. So hole saw worked out amazing. Very happy with that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get at it. So I'm going to go ahead and up in my attic. I'm going to run all my wires, and I'll see if I can get some lighting, give you guys an overview once everything's ran. All right, so we're up in the attic. I'm going to see if I can get you guys footage of this, but there's one box. There's another one. Looks like little molehills. And then I got a couple more around. So I'm going to see if I can get good lighting over here, get some video for you, and we'll see how it goes. But it should be pretty straightforward. I'm just running that one. It's going to be the end one that we put in with just one piece. It's going to run to that one, the one behind me, and then another one over there, and then down to the switch. So that's the plan. Let's go ahead and get at it. All right, so the time's come now to mess around with the interior. So I still haven't run the junction box to extend that one line yet. I want to go ahead and cut out the wall so I can catch and figure out how much cable I need and whatnot. So basically we're going to run everything except for the 3rd switch in here, which is currently under the wall. And I'm going to do that a little bit later in this video. So up there, went ahead and got everything run. Seems to be good to go. Went ahead and secured all the junction boxes, or the light boxes, whatever you want to call it. This guy maybe saved me earlier messing with. I just put a ground in here because you want to make sure all your boxes are grounded in case something happens to split and it gets charged. If you touch it, you would be subject to whatever voltage running through that line, which would not be good. So everything is grounded, everything is run, which should be good. Yeah, so the next stage, basically what I'm going to be doing, we're going to go ahead and probably start with either this box or this one. And this one's going to go into a different room. I'll show you in a minute. But basically we're going to have, the plan anyway, is to have dimmer switches in here. So I will show you what this looks like. These are intended for three-way switches. They do not have to be a three-way switch, but it's just an option if you wanted to do that. So yeah, we're going to have basically 3 of these in here. And then this guy over top, and it should be pretty clean. One for the recessed lights, one for the chandelier, and then the on-off switch for the main kitchen light. So let's go ahead and get at it. I'm going to go ahead inside, start measuring, and cut a hole and stick this thing in there. This is a renovator's box, I believe what it's called, or builder's box, because it's meant to just hook into the sheetrock. You don't have to worry about trying to get into studs or anything after the walls have already been put up. So let's get onto that next. All right, so we just turned off the power. Nothing going here. Turned off that light, and these lights. And what the plan is, so these two is already double, this is already a double box or a dual box. And this is going to be, I'm changing this one. This one right now goes to this room, which doesn't make sense to me. So I'm going to move this to this side over here with a single box that I picked up. And then this one's going to become that light. And this one, which is currently that light, is going to be the dimmer switch for these 4 recessed lights. So that's the plan. I just need to measure. I need to make sure that I put the box on the other side offset enough so we don't bump into it essentially. So I'm going to measure. I'm going to make my other hole on the other side, probably right around here because the beam is right here. So this side should be no beam until we get to the actual door right here. So I'm going to put it about the same level and on this side, and then we're just going to flip this guy to the other side, pull out some wires, and I'll be able to reach the wires on the new hole. And we'll get at it. So start cutting and everything like that. All right, that was a wiring fiasco. I did not enjoy any bit of that. I did a lot of research. I looked up probably 30, 40 different wiring diagrams, just really making sure I had all my ducks in a row before I did anything stupid. But lights on, no fire. I'm not even kidding how crappy that is. This switch is now in, so that's easy enough. Nice. Very happy this is out of the way. This is where I wanted it. So main switch on and off, and then turn these on. Whoops, turn it off. There we go. And then we have these guys, which actually lights up the kitchen beautifully. So we have our dimmer. Turns them off. And then I need to adjust the threshold just a little bit so they don't kind of do that, because there's a threshold and then it dims. So I need to adjust that on the switch just a hair. And then I think we're good with this area. But yeah, holy crap, that was very, very nerve-wracking. All right, so that area is now finished, and we're gonna go ahead and move on to this. So the plan here is we're gonna take this switch out, pull these wires up into the attic, and see if we can run them down to here, because I wanna add a triple switch box right here. And the plan is to have this far one do recess lights, this next one do chandelier, and then this first one is gonna do the kitchen light over there, because we all know this wall is gonna go away. So that's the plan. I think I'm gonna start with cutting this whole thing out to kind of see what I can see. And then from there, we'll start pulling wires, may need to put a junction box up there, which I bought, and we'll see how it goes. So let's hop on that next. All right, guys, check it out. So it's all on, everything is good. That one light right there wasn't on. It looks like I didn't push the push connector in all the way, so I had to go back up in the attic and double check that, and we're good. Yeah, it's crazy. So this is what it used to look like in here. Turn that off. And we'll turn this off. And this is all the lighting that we had in this room. That chandelier is not quite up all the way. So this is what it used to look like in here. As you can see, definitely missing out. What's up, cat? Not super great. And then we turn on our recess lighting, and boom, much more bright over the dining room area. Turn on this light, and holy cow. So it absolutely transformed this whole room. It looks great. Very happy with how everything turned out. And then our chandelier and everything can now be used as accent lighting. I'm probably gonna change out those LEDs for something a little more appropriate for accent lighting. I've done to light the whole room with them. And there we have it. So looks pretty awesome. So that's gonna go ahead and do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you saw any mistakes or anything, leave them in the comments down below. I am definitely learning and doing the best I can to make sure I don't have any safety hazards and we do everything properly. I think it came out really well. I'm very happy with it. And the draw on the cabling, everything I know is very low because of LED lights, so I'm not super worried about anything getting overdraws or anything like that. My circuits are run pretty, I would say, generously. So I think we're pretty much good to go. So that's gonna conclude the lighting install. Next up, eventually, it's gonna be going ahead and getting rid of this wall. So I just left this guy empty. I wound up cutting the cables because I couldn't pull them up because they're stapled to one or two of the beams. and then ran our junction box right about here, and then ran it down to that switch for the 3-way switch now here. So easy day. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully get back to some car stuff, and hope you guys enjoyed. Take it easy. Have a good one.